With the NBA regular season coming to a close, and then of course, guys, now the playoffs are officially underway at this point in time, but I wanted to go ahead and give you guys my playoff predictions for the NBA. One of the questions I got was, who is winning the NBA Finals? And I got a number of people asking me that on Facebook as well as on Twitter. And so I thought I would go through my NBA playoff predictions based on the bracket, guys, as it stands, which is of course the finalized bracket. But with that, I want to start, guys. I'll go ahead and give you who I believe is going to win each of the series, and then I'll kind of give you where, what I think the series, as far as from a perspective of who wins and then by how many games and how many games the series goes. I'll give you guys all of those things here now. So we'll start with the Western Conference. So you got the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland's been on an absolute tear as of late, guys. But I gotta say that I believe that the Lakers will pull it out against Portland. I think Portland, even though they've had an incredible run, I think that, they have had to give everything just to make the playoffs in the first place. But I do think they're going to give the Lakers a hard time at points throughout the course of the series. I believe the Lakers will advance 4-2 against the Trailblazers. And then between the Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder, I got to say, Houston losing Russell Westbrook for a period of time is going to be really tough for them. I actually see this series, what I believed was actually going to be a really quick series. Now I think it's going to be a very long series. I do believe the Houston Rockets will pull it out and win that one 4-3. And so that'll be a Game 7, I believe. And then, of course, between Denver and Utah, I do have Denver winning this one, guys. It's not going to be a gentleman's sweep because I think Utah still, they definitely have a lot of fire in them. And so I do believe, though, that Denver is going to advance to the semifinal. And I think they're going to win that series 4-2. But as I said, guys, with any of these series, it could really go any way. There's no home court advantage, which makes the bubble very interesting, of course, down in Florida. And then lastly, guys, in the Western Conference, you've got the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I do believe that Dallas is going to be a great team down the road. I just don't know if it's going to be this year necessarily, especially going up against the Clippers. Even though the Clippers haven't played together as a team for very many games because they've had, a lot of the players have missed time and things of that nature, but I still think that they are going to be a very tough team to beat down the stretch. I do have them beating Dallas 4-2 and moving to the semifinals against Denver. Now on the opposite side, guys, in the Eastern Conference, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic. I gotta say, guys, that even though Milwaukee has not been playing incredibly well as of late, I do have them actually sweeping the Magic. I do not see any chance Orlando is going to even get a single game. I mean, if they get one game, it'll be a gentleman's sweep 4-1, but I will say that Milwaukee beats Orlando 4-0. Then we get to Indiana and Miami, which is a very interesting series to say the least, and I think this is one that's going to go the stretch. I actually have Miami pulling this one out with the upset. I've got them winning this one 4-3, though, guys. Got this going to a Game 7. I think it's going to be very, very close, and it's going to come down to the wire with a lot of those games. Boston and Philadelphia. Philadelphia took a real blow, guys, by losing Ben Simmons, which could be for the rest of the year. I do think Philadelphia is going to present some problems for Boston, but I do think Boston is going to move on. They could actually gentleman sweep Philadelphia. I'm going to say it's 4-2, though. Boston moves on. Toronto and Brooklyn is the last one, guys, and Brooklyn has really shown that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward in the future. Of course, when you get Kevin Durant as well as Kyrie Irving there, they are going to be a force, and there is no debate about it. But I do have Toronto beating them, guys. I just don't think Brooklyn is going to give that much of a tough time for Toronto. I will say Brooklyn will get one game, but I do think they'll get gentlemen swept 4-1 against Toronto. So now, guys, we've got in the semifinals, the Western Conference semifinals, we've got the Lakers and the Rockets. Now, I'm assuming that Russell Westbrook will be back with the Rockets during this series or throughout the course of it. Maybe he'll even be back for the OKC series as well. But what I'm going to say is this. This is going to be a really tough one, in my opinion. Now, if Russell Westbrook's back, it's going to be, I believe, a long battle between these two teams. I do have the Lakers winning, though. And the reason is, guys, is because of LeBron. I mean, I just don't see, when it comes to playoff LeBron and what we've seen him do year after year in the Eastern Conference, like against these teams, he's just a different animal going up against teams in the Eastern Conference, which we obviously know the Western Conference is much, very stacked compared to that of the Eastern Conference. But nonetheless, guys, I just don't see the firepower of the Lakers. The Rockets will have no answer for Anthony Davis, no answer for LeBron. Even though the Lakers don't have a lot, of answers necessarily for Russ and James Harden, I just believe that they are going, in a long drawn-out series, the Lakers are going to win this one. I will say this, I think that the Lakers will probably win this one 4-3 or 4-2. It's hard to say, guys. A lot of it depends on if Russ is there or not. I'm going to go and say that this is going to go 7 games. I think it'll go 7 games if Russ is there. If he's not, I think it'll be 4-2. The Lakers will advance to the conference finals, in my personal opinion. And then, of course, you've got the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Nuggets are actually a surprise, a surprising team to me in a number of ways. I think that they do have a good amount of firepower. But at the end of the day, guys, I believe the Clippers are going to pull this one out. I just think that they're so deep as a team that I just don't think Denver's going to have enough answers for, Kawhi and Paul George. And then, of course, the bench players like Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell. It's going to be very difficult. I'm going to say that the Clippers, even though this is another series that could go 7 games, I'm going to say it's going to go 6. I believe that the Los Angeles Clippers will win 4-2 and advance to the conference finals. On the other side, guys, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. And what I believe is Milwaukee, even though Milwaukee, might have kind of stumbled a little bit during this bubble up to that point, and they would have, in my opinion, swept the Orlando Magic. So I think they're going to be on a roll. I'm going to say that Miami is going to take 1-2 games. I think that they do have some experience there. Miami is still kind of building something. Got Iggy, obviously Jimmy Buckets. I think they've got a decent team there. I don't think that they're going to be able to go the long stretch against Milwaukee. I'm going to say Milwaukee wins this one 4-2. Very well could be a gentleman's sweep, though, 4-1. I'm going to say 4-2, though, Milwaukee advances. Then you've got Boston and Toronto. This one is going to be a battle, a real battle in my opinion, guys. Toronto's got the experience being the defending champions. Boston's still young, but they're getting better. And look, this one could go either way, in my opinion. It's going to go to a Game 7, I believe. And I'm actually going to go with Boston here. I think Boston is ready to take the step after they, of course, over the course of these past number of years, guys, they got beat at certain times. Toronto, they lost to last year. The year before that, I believe it was the Cavs that they lost to, and LeBron took them 7 games basically by himself winning. They're learning a lot, though, as they can begin that playoff experience. Guys like Tatum, this is a team that's primed, I think, and ready to make a run. And I think that they will beat Toronto in 7 games. So I'm saying 4-3 Boston. So now we've got the Lakers and the Clippers, the Battle of LA, which everybody wants to see, right? I think we can all agree, the Battle of LA is what everyone wants to see. And I think that this is going to come down to the absolute end, guys. I mean, it is, I personally believe whoever wins the conference finals, is going to win it all. And I got to say, look, the Clippers definitely are deeper, but they don't got LeBron. And they don't have a guy named Anthony Davis, which I don't believe the Clippers have any answer for Anthony Davis. And we've seen that now over the course of the time that they've been playing each other. And playoff LeBron is unlike anything we've ever seen, like I said. I do have it going 7 games because I think a lot of these games, or probably all of them, will come right down to the wire. And I just think that the Clippers are certainly going to win a few of those, and the Lakers will win some of those. But I do have, in Game 7, you put everything on the line. I've got the Lakers winning 4-3, and they move on to the NBA Finals. Now, the conference finals for the Eastern side, we got Milwaukee and Boston. Kind of like a rematch of last year, which obviously Giannis is going to want to kind of get his revenge against Boston. And I believe it was one of the biggest superstar meltdowns I've ever seen, guys. Giannis did not show up, in my opinion, in that series last year against Boston. And so he's definitely going to show up. But I've got Boston moving on, guys. And I think it's another one that's going to go to the very end. I believe that this is going to be a 7-game series once again, which I'm really excited about. But I do think Boston will pull it out once again. I just think that Boston, even though Milwaukee's got a great team, Boston does not have an answer for Giannis. But I just think that they're just deeper as a team. Boston, I think, there's a lot more that they can throw at, Milwaukee, and they've got, in my opinion, they got some better shooters. And so I believe Boston will pull this one out. We're going to get a classic matchup, one of the classic matchups in all of basketball, being the LA Lakers and the Boston Celtics. And look, at the end of the day, guys, it could go either way as well, but I just don't believe Boston is ready yet. They're not that team yet. Maybe down the road they will be. Like, they're kind of like the Dallas Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are going to be a contender in a year or two. Boston is certainly a contender this year. I just don't know if they're going to be able to make that step against the Lakers. But I do think it's going to go about 6 games. I think the Lakers will win the NBA Finals 4-2, in my opinion. It could easily go 6 games, or I believe 7. It could go 7 games. But I just think that there's no answers for, like I was saying with Boston and Milwaukee, they have no answer for Giannis, but there's no answer for Boston when it comes to LeBron and Anthony Davis. And so I can't see it happening unless, the superstars don't show up or something. It could definitely go to become a longer series. But I think LA is going to triumph over everyone this year. And I got LeBron, man. I'm not going to bet against him. That's my prediction. The Lakers win 4-2 against the Boston Celtics. Let me know, guys, what do you all think? What are your predictions for the NBA Finals and just the bracket in general? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it.